Hey everybody, John Ramdeen with you here in our downtown studios, and this is Fight News Now Extra, where Robin Black and I discuss some of MMA's biggest stories. In the news today, a UFC champion is in big trouble. Two talented welterweights will meet in Brazil, and a top-rated gym in California closes its doors. UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones is in serious hot water, as it seems the polarizing fighter was involved in a motor vehicle accident and marijuana was found at the scene. According to reports, Jones ran a red light and hit a car with a 25-year-old pregnant woman inside. Another woman sustained a broken arm. Eyewitnesses claim that a man fitting Jones's description grabbed a handful of cash from the vehicle and fled the scene. Jones turned himself into police and has since posted bail. Top-rated welterweights Rick Story and Erick Silva will battle it over 5 rounds, as the bout will serve as the main event of Tough Brazil 4 finale. The Brazilian is coming off back-to-back wins, including a submission triumph over Josh Koscheck in March, while Story is also looking to make it 3 in a row. UFC middleweight Mark Munoz has sold his mixed martial arts facility Reign Training Center, which is located in Southern California. The WEC veteran wanted to focus more of his time on his family and coaching wrestling. The 37-year-old will meet Luke Barnett on May 16th on the undercard of Fight Night Edgar vs. Faber, the company's first trip to the Philippines. Happy to be joined by Mr. Robin Black. The UFC putting together an exciting 170-pound battle. Erick Silva, Rick Story, all going down in Brazil. Love these fights. Rick Story has an opportunity to make his way up that ladder, maybe get a shot at the 170-pound championship. Erick Silva still, I think with a couple of good performances, this is a guy that could be a star and you could sell, but we've seen he's been inconsistent in the past. I think he favors that flashy style over the meat and potatoes, let's get the victory mentality when it comes to mixed martial arts. I think when you look at things objectively, you can see how Ricky Story can stall things out and get a victory here.
Yeah, Rick Story used to be just a move forward kind of Frankenstein kind of fighter who really would have fallen right into the trap of Erick Silva. But he has kind of evolved. He's figured out how to use his wrestling, threaten with his wrestling to set up his boxing. I would pick Rick Story in this fight, but this fight is a lot of fun.
What's cool, over the month of May, so many great fights to look forward to. You got Mark Hunt, Stipe Miocic, you got Uriah Faber taking on Frankie Edgar, Chris Weidman taking on Vitor Belfort, Donald Cerrone on the card. A good time right now for the UFC and the fans.
Yeah, and Jon Jones probably isn't taking on Anthony Johnson. I think that's probably something we can guess right now. But fortunately, there is a ton of other really good fights. And even that card, you got a guy who's going through all kinds of stuff. Let's just take him off there. Strip him of the belt if you got to. And but Weidman at the top, taking on Vitor. Then you've got Cowboy. That's a killer card. If that's something like that, if a guy has to go and blow up a card, that's the card to do it, because you always miss a championship fight. But if that's the case in this one, there sure is plenty of other good fights.
And we were kind of talking about it. If this Jon Jones thing continues and he's pulled off that card, what is the UFC going to do? Are they going to strip Jon Jones of the title? Kevin Aioli says that yes, he thinks that the UFC it should be their responsibility to send a message to the fighters in the organization and the media and the public that we're taking this seriously. Just because he's a champion, just because he's a millionaire, he shouldn't be able to get away with these things, that he should be suspended. Go and deal with his real issues and then examine things over, say a year's time, 12 months time, whatever it is. And from there, you have Anthony Johnson maybe taking on Daniel Cormier. I think when you look at the grand scheme of things, you ask people in the know, Anthony Johnson and Daniel Cormier are the two best guys in the division. I'm sure Alexander Gustafsson would say, hey, wait a second, I can hang with any of these guys. Anthony Johnson. But do you think they would do that? Would they call Daniel Cormier and say, be ready, instead of you'll be there to replace Jon Jones? Do they push Anthony Johnson ahead because Daniel Cormier is supposed to be taking on Ryan Bader? Or do they push things even further and have Daniel Cormier maybe on the undercard of that Mexico card with Cain Velasquez? Yeah,
it's tough to make Cormier make weight and get ready that far ahead to face AJ, so I don't know about that. But yeah, I like it on Mexico. That sure sounds fun. Yeah, let's make that. But think about this. If this is what they do, they're doing the guy a favor. Because you're either going to lose this fight, or you're going to lose the next fight, or you're going to lose the next fight, or you're going to go to jail, or whatever. The path he's down, this is not a champion's path. The path he's on right now, this isn't what winners do. This is what guys who are either suffering from some type of addiction issue, or just being an idiot, or whatever. He needs to be stripped of this for his own sake. Never mind the UFC, it's the right thing for them to do, make a statement to the audience, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we live in a political time, sure. But for this guy, somebody needs to grab this guy and say, there are consequences. Because if you don't, he's either going to get hurt, or he's going to lose his title, or he's going to go to jail, or all those things. So you got to do it.
And do you expect the UFC to really take this by the horns and say, you know, we have to address it? We know that Jon Jones is one of these polarizing characters that either people love or they hate, but the fact is that he sells pay-per-views. The hardcores love him. The casual fans either love him or they hate him,
which is good.
Which is good, and he sells pay-per-views. It's not good for business for the UFC to put this guy on the shelf for, say, a year, but at the same time, we're right in the thick of things where they're trying to do things to change the whole drug policy. They're really coming down on guys for PEDs, and this isn't one of those situations, but it's kind of like that, and they have to address it.
It's related, and yeah, it's not good for business to put him on the shelf. We found that out last time he did something stupid and had cocaine metabolites in his system weeks out from a fight. Like I said, he didn't lose that fight, but he would have lost the next one or won, because champions can't stay champions doing that anyways. But so they didn't do that then. What did we find out? It's going to get worse. So now they're going to have to do it. And at the time that we're having this conversation, they've said nothing. By the time this airs, or if it airs in a repeat, they may have said something. And the reason there's a large space where they say nothing is because you want to get that right. So you sit there with all of your consultants, even your legal team, and you get it. You decide what you're going to do, and you decide how you're going to do it. And by the time somebody opens their mouth, it's right. The modern way to do things is go up on Twitter, say whatever's going on. That's how people do things in modern times, this here fancy modern times we live in. But if it's something really important that can have a dramatic good or bad effect on your business and on everything you do, you plan it and you do it right.
That is it for us. Keep it locked to FN for all the latest on the Jon Jones story. Don't go anywhere. More Fight News Now Extras coming up next.
That's GSP, former UFC welterweight champion. And that's me. And for 1 week, I got to live like a champion. And it all started with a phone call on the Bud Light living line.
Hey buddy, it's Dana White from the UFC. How'd you like to come to UFC 186 in Montreal?
Hey, Tommy.
Dana, man.
What's up, Tommy?
Nice to meet you.
Here's your belt. You are the Bud Light living champion.
They give you a free Bud Light?
Send me a copy.
Hey guys, welcome to the TriStar Gym. If you're carrying the belt, you gotta train like a champion.
Whatever you do, please don't move.
Congratulations, Tommy. I hope there's no money, no belt on the line, because I swear to God I'd come take that too.
What are you guys doing in here? You want to make some noise?
Yes.
Let's go. It's time for Hot Wings! Tommy, this is round 5. You have no time to stop. Get it down, get it down. It's time to start Bud Light Living!
And this was just the beginning.